Opinions. The various books of the New Testament tell clearly the views of the disciples from their standpoint. Some align. Others, it said, could be misconstrued to mean something else. Regardless of this, what is evident is that despite the truth of the Gospels, they are still opinions of history. Opinions are, of course, important, but when they don't align, this causes dissonance and confusion. We are all apparently entitled to an opinion, and education enforces the most valid opinions. Now, personally, for me, if I'm going to have an opinion on something, then it needs to be an educated one, as this reinforces any potential arguments or debates. Healthy debates have happened for centuries, and it is only when they turn into "I'm right and you're not" that arguments happen, and potentially fighting. If you're going to argue that black is white or vice versa, then one must have something to back the argument up with. Finding a grey, neutral ground is never easy with strong-minded individuals. So, what would Jesus do? Would he listen to both sides of an argument? I imagine that, considering being the Son of God, that he'd be pretty righteous in getting his opinions across. Perhaps you're facing an argument of some sort. Perhaps you're in between an argument from an outside perspective. What scriptures can assist us with this? One of the most famous arguments in scripture is the argument between two mothers, stating that one child is their son. They went to the king, and, well, the king made a wise move in his word there. I'm sure if you ask ChatGPT or Google about the wisdom of the king and the two mothers, you'll find out the story. Maybe some other scripture would assist. The book of Judges may be a wise investment of time. However, we might find something in our current times that's perhaps a little more apt. The news yesterday suggested that the House of Lords are going to receive extra money if they have to work in London. And the public are going mad about this. But who's right? It's difficult to say without bias. If we say that the public are right, we are not supporting the wisdom of the Lords. If we say the Lords are right, we are not supporting the public. Would Jesus say, well, perhaps these Lords have enough money? Or would he say, the work of the Lords is what keeps England in good order? Now, personally, I know more public than I do Lords. So I might be biased. I would say that the money should perhaps support the homeless or those less fortunate, but that's just my opinion. And I don't have enough education to back this up. Also, I would not fancy arguing with the Lords. Also yesterday, a man that I gave money to a couple of days before that. He was on the street and he looked, well, he needed some help and he asked for a couple of quid because he was going to get some Ribena before he headed off on the bus somewhere. I've seen the man a few times now. And the same man came up to me yesterday, again, just wondering if I could help. And I said, I'm sorry, um, I just can't help you today. And he looked at me with such disdain when I said no. He's judging the man that helped him get some food and drink. So, do the House of Lords feel similar when the public attack? Now, seeing both sides of an argument or opinion is not an easy task. We could pray about it, educate ourselves, and, well, we could still be wrong. Or at least wrong from the other person's perspective. So, is it right to have an opinion? Well, I'd say yes, as if none of us had opinions, the world would be a very uncertain place.